Dominique Palmer. Welcome to Dominique's Den, where I give practical tips that help you navigate this thing called life. Today, we're going to touch on benchmarking and how it can help you make sound decisions. Whether your next decision is where to order food from for dinner or what kind of house you can get for your budget. How to make better decisions using benchmarking. Let's talk about it. What is a benchmark? Why is it important? How can you use it? And how do you actually do it? Let's start with a definition. The Merriam-Webster definition of benchmark, which is the noun, and benchmarking is the verb, is something that serves as a standard by which others may be measured or judged. It may be a point of reference from which measurements can be made, or it's a standardized problem or test that serves as a basis for evaluation or comparison. Is any of that sounding familiar? But why? Why should you be thinking about benchmarking in your decision-making process? Well, you may need an objective perspective about a person or a company and how it compares to a peer group. It's a great way to identify performance gaps and opportunities for improvement. May also be able to create standardized set of processes and metrics when you do benchmarking, or establish performance expectations, or determine the value of the price that you pay for goods and services. And when should you benchmark? As we think about decision making, we have a list of variables potentially, and we need to figure out how to make the choice of which one is best. So here are some examples that all of us can relate to. You may relate to one or all of them. How about shopping for a car or car insurance? As you consider the options, there are many cars that you could purchase, but you may be restricted by your budget or the mileage that the car is away from you. For car insurance, you may be so focused on price that you compromise in other areas, but how do you understand how the pricing compares is by doing benchmarking. Other examples are real estate sales comps. So are you thinking of moving and want to know what you might sell your home for, and also what you may get for the budget? What type of house might you get for, let's say, $250,000? The square footage, the number of bedrooms, and so on. How about a compensation evaluation? Are you considering changing jobs, moving to another company? Well, understanding the compensation that's appropriate for that role, so the market rate, will help you determine if the offer is fair for the responsibilities of that new role. How about academic testing? As educators, we know that we have end-of-unit tests, but also standardized tests that are set by the state. Another area where we use benchmarking, probably pretty frequently these days, is online customer reviews. So as you consider one product over another, you may look at how folks who have purchased this product liked the experience, whether they felt that there was value for the price that was paid, but you get a lot of information or data through those online reviews. So how do you do benchmarking? You have a decision to make, and sometimes we make spur-of-the-moment choices. Sometimes we look at things in silos, so we don't consider how things are impacted by other areas of our lives or other people in our lives. So here we've set out 5 things that you should do for your process with benchmarking, which will help you get to your decision. Very first step is to set a goal. What is your goal? Carrying that example from the prior slide, looking for a car or looking for a car insurance. If we're looking for a car and we can only spend $15,000, then we will go ahead and set out our metrics. How are we going to determine which car is right for us within that budget? If we're thinking about the car insurance, you may want to pay the least amount of premiums per year. Well, when you're doing that, you also need to consider your metrics. So price obviously is one for you to find the car insurance that works for you, but you need to also look at the coverage levels. The cheapest one may not be comparable or may not be the same level of coverage that you have today. The price may be more important than the coverage level, but that's all part of the benchmarking. Let's look at what you get for what you pay. You also need to determine your data collection methods. So with car insurance, and also with purchasing cars, a lot of information is available online. So you can go to various websites that are credible for you to get information. You can also work through a broker for car insurance that may give you several options for you to consider. Once you have the data, though, you also need to do your analysis. So, as you are making decisions, is it good enough just to know, I want to pay the cheapest amount in premiums for car insurance? No, we already talked about setting our metrics. We talked about the data gathering, and now that we have the data, it's looking into those details. What is the deductible for this premium? And then in the end, the last step is to make your decision. So going through these steps gives you all the data that you need to make sound decisions. You did it. Next up is your next sound decision.